my legenders, and welcome finally to a new diorama video. This time it will be the famous King Tiger 2 crossing the lake. As you can see, I start torching the big block of styrofoam with this wooden torch because I don't have like the cutting wire for it, so I just use these and make of course the big block thinner, and I can be easily ready for another diorama, maybe for a plane, maybe for something else future holds. We will see. And quick look. After that quick mock test, like how will be looking diorama with the tank on the small hill, I can use a wooden torch to making crater for the water as you will be pouring later. You can see the small look, and after that I start cutting the pieces of a balsa wood with a knife, and I use super glue for gluing the balsa wood, and of course later I will try again with just a ordinary PVA glue, and I use pins almost like always on my dioramas. And my question is, because the balsa wood kind of burnt out with the super glue, and here you can see I just making a terrain texture with a gypsum, plaster, dirt and sawdust, and it will be really thick. Sadly I forgot to record the ground, and I start just spraying the whole diorama with a black spray can, as you can see, to make it like fake shadows like always. After that I start making ground texture, like I used a brown color from weIl to make a classic look of the terrain, and after that I of course use paintbrush and wet palette, and I use a little bit of more darker brown and just put it like a light wash on it to make some differences in the terrain, because as we all know, the terrain in the real life it's different, sometimes shinier, sometimes darker, and sometimes few other colors, small stones, etc. And I use here, I think, black color to use it like shadows here and there, and of course shadows in the lake as well. When the terrain is done, I again make a mock test. Here you can see. After that I start gluing the stones with just PVA glue. These stones I have home like almost 3-4 years ago. I just grab it somewhere in the forest, of course adding this stick to like all trunk, and after that I use PVA glue and spray it out with a brush, because we will gluing this nice mosh, and of course some other small details like the flowers, and adding some natural materials like this old stuff, and again real moss, and after that sprinkle it with some whiter grass, but it didn't see at it at the final moment, and finally adding the lovely greenish, like almost like the green yard in the England, yeah, and spread out all over the surface. After the grass I add the King Tiger 2 again before adding the water, how it will look. I decided to add more matte, and I just use brown color and gypsum, and now you can see how I trying to mixing the resin, and I just put it into the container, add the hardener, I don't know exact ratio, just by the eye. After pouring the hardener, I just start mixing the resin with a hardener properly, and I start pouring the liquid into the crater where will be the water, and I of course use a color to color it a little bit. I think I use a little drop of green maybe a brown, and I decided to make more pronounced matte here where will be the King Tiger 2 because it's too monolithic. So I decided to edit like this to make it like more rougher, and you know the tongue is very heavy, and just adding a small, again pouring because it wasn't to the top of the crater, and I of course add another resin and just tap it with a brush to make it like waves to look like not just like a clean water. And I use of course here spray to make the effect more pronounced. In the finished you can kind of see it, but I really dig in it, this look. And after this is the last step, and I just adding a lot of super glue, glue it the King Tiger on the mat, and after that adding last touches like painting some areas with a brown color and of course with a dirt. And with the steps is the armor finished. I hope you like it, and see you next time.